Mr. Brok, Peter von Kohl, EU reporter. Mr. Brok, in English, please. The first question is, how do you, after meeting all the opposition leaders, just the possibility of a opposition which can be united in leading Ukraine? When you mentioned that the people on the Maidan were not too happy about seeing those who are already failed perhaps returning into power. Second question is about the whereabouts of Yanukovych. You have always stated EU should not put pressure on Russia. But if he is now protected by Russian authorities, either on Crimea or even in Russia, and Ukraine wants to have him, to charge him with mass murder, how to react from the EU then?
I'm sure that the European Union and European Union member countries will honor and warrant arrest warrant. That's our job we have to do. And that's all what I have to say to that. For me, it's much more important what Russia does, that it sticks to its, does not interfere in the unity of the country, and that it's ready also to bring its support for stabilization of the economy of the country and keep its promises. The first question with the opposition leaders, Mr. Klitschko was not in old governments, and others also not. And I myself explained the deal with foreign ministers and the leaders with Yanukovych in the Maidan Council on Friday lunchtime, and I debated with them. At the end, we got a vote of 28 yes for signing, 2 no, 2 abstentions. And I must say in this moment also, that the readiness of these 3 leaders to sign that in a moment of these highest emotions and mournings about the dead people lying in front of the Maidan stage is for me an example of highest statesmanship on responsibility. They knew perfectly well that this would not increase their popularity with the people who were victims of that regime. But they thought they have to do that in order to avoid further bloodshed, and they were successful with that. They thought that they had for the first time agreement with Yanukovych that he will resign earlier. It was not written in December, it was written that at the latest moment in December. It was written in that, and within 48 hours the new constitution should be on the plate. Incredible progress. I think there's a lot of reasons why this regime imploded so fast. But the signature under that thing was one of the 3, 4 more important parts why it happened that way. And it was in that moment the last of Yanukovych's authority destroyed. He lost the majority in the parliament, and at that moment he lost the support of any security forces. The army was never fully behind him, but the security forces. And with half an hour, the situation on the street changed. And that was a very great achievement. And the Maidan itself played an important role in that, but not the only role. If that would not have signed, and the snipers would have continued, and they had the power to go forward with all the machines. I've seen myself the snipers coming out of the president's presence, 3 meters away from here. These people with these long rifles, I know from Hollywood movies. They shot the people directly in the eye or here in the vein, wherever it goes. Professionals, cold-hearted. That was stopped in a way. And therefore, I must say, I've not very often seen such courageous leaders. And I remember then the discussions were in the Maidan Council with the 3 together. And I tried also to explain and fighting for that vote in order to get a legitimation for them. I do not know whether I would have the courage in such a moment. They had. It was easy for me, but difficult for them. They knew that might be the end of their career because they did that, but they thought they have no other choice because of the responsibility towards their people. And this, I think, historical books will one day write what they have achieved it that way. And this, I think, it's difficult to explain to the people in the streets who have written 3 months on that cold place, under that circumstances, under such violence, and that these people have emotions, that is to understand, and but also how to calm it down and take responsibility in such a situation. That's important. But also, I must say, that makes it easier. How ridiculous every dictator is when you find him, if he is out of power. If you see this palace and where the people go now peacefully and have a watch, nothing destroy. It is always, for me, a great question how bad the taste of dictators are.
But let me just add on the opposition. We, on Sunday, had extensive contacts, as it was said, including as well the Party of Regions, what is left of it, and even the Communist Party. And it was interesting that they all said that they wanted to work for the unity of the country. The Party of Regions, Mr. Tihipko, said that he would not leave the party, that he wanted to reconstruct the party. He would work for this government of national unity. He was working for that. And we have even heard that he was invited to join it. He may not join it, but that doesn't mean, for his own process of reconstruction of the party, but that does not mean that he's not clearly participating and viabilizing this government. I think also on the Yanukovych whereabouts, we met indeed the new Prosecutor General. He told us that he had issued this arrest warrant for Yanukovych and his closer people involved in the bloodshed. He acknowledged that the system of justice is totally corrupt. This is an area where it will be very important to provide EU assistance from the beginning. He accepted that in order to be able, if they would catch Yanukovych or any of the other high-profile people, they would need assistance to actually conduct a serious investigation and fair trial. And he accepted my suggestion that Ukraine would actually call for assistance from the ICC. He said he agreed with that for these high-level cases. And indeed, it will be very important, the kind of assistance that we as well can give in this particular area.